What am I looking at right now? Mario Party seems to be one of Nintendo's less discussed franchises, even next to other Mario stuff, but it's got a whole world of games and history and a ton of fun at its core. It just has a hard time letting it show. So I want to go into this series, massage it, make it some tea, and help it show the world how great it is on the inside. Because right now I wouldn't blame people looking at the series and just writing it all off. I don't know why, but they have such a hard time nailing the execution of this pretty simple game. And so I want to go back and see where it started, where it went, and which entries are the most worth playing. Because this franchise, better than most, proves that processing power and graphical limitations just doesn't have much bearing on the quality of a game. Starting with the original on the Nintendo 64, which I've never played. Parties really aren't my thing. A Mario Party, on the other hand. Just try and stop me. Oh yeah! Here we are, the original party. All 4 polygons. I'll say I'm actually impressed with how the models look here. Mario actually kinda looks like himself, which is rare for those days. Donkey Kong looks suitably airheaded, and Toad has the cold dead stare of a serial killer. All behind that beautiful, colourful mosaic of 64-bit resolution. Mwah. Really, the only time the visuals fall short are in these animated character portraits. Yoshi's tongue looks a little too tentacle-like. And Mario here just looks flat out evil. I don't know what happened there. Maybe they were trying that thing where Kirby's angry in all the English artwork. Actually, one change in the English version of this game, which I cannot get behind, is Wario's failing voice line. What's weird is he actually says something in German, apparently? Because Wario at the time was German, and then they retconned him to be Italian because everyone else is Italian. But the important part is in the Japanese version of the game, he says this.
Oh my god!
And so does Luigi!
Oh my god!
Oh, how I desire them to be in the main game! But I will take what I get, and what I get are these voice clips that I will treasure. And oh good, we get a nice cutscene introducing us to the deep Mario Party lore. I don't know why, but every now and then these games just feel the need to set up a plot reason as to why these characters are rolling dice blocks and submitting themselves to cult-like rituals.
Oh my god!
So what is it this time? They're all arguing about who's the best, and Toad tells them to play Mario Party to figure out who the superstar is. Well, now that you've told me I'm fighting for the validation of Toad, I am in! If you don't already know, Mario Party is pretty simple. 4 players roll dice to have the most stars by the end of the game, which you buy with coins gotten from blue spaces or by winning the mini-games that you're all roped into after everybody has a turn. Then a few bonus stars are awarded at the end based on players' performances. You'll win the mini-games to get the coins to buy the stars. And sometimes you might steal stuff from each other if you land on the right space. It's really that simple, and the further the game strays from this formula, the less good it usually is. But this is just the first one, so there's really no reason to start twisting things from the get-go. Which is why I was pretty surprised when that's exactly what happened. I mean, it's not ludicrous, but I'm really shocked that there's like only one map that's just regular Mario Party. I mean, what even is regular Mario Party at this point? I guess it's that formula I just dropped that's derived from the median of all the good ones, but it seems like screwing with how the game works is just as ingrained to the franchise as the game itself at this point. But exactly how screwy is it? Well, okay, it does what I didn't even realize most Mario Party games did when I was younger, and has every map play with a unique gameplay element. First up is DKs Jungle Adventure. It's one of the most basic. It's a regular map with multiple optional paths and some trap spaces. It's serviceable, but it doesn't really give players enough split direction to work as a map with a moving star. Pretty much everyone ends up getting close to the star, but then of course the first person buys it, and then the star moves to the opposite side of the map with everyone positioned now as far away from it as possible, making the next turns feel really slow. It immediately reveals how complicated making a game like this would be, because while the goal is for everyone to get stars, if you make it like this, it just becomes a long game of herding sheep, instead of the tactical, exciting landscape that it is at its best. I imagine it's a really tough thing to get right, but they did better later on at designing levels where the whole crew wasn't huddled together and the star wasn't necessarily the only thing to chase in the short term. Then there's Peach's birthday cake. This is a relay map where the star space stays in place and the players race through it as fast as they can, which actually I'd probably say is the one alternate kind of Mario Party map that counts as a regular Mario Party level in my mind anyway. The variation here is there's a point where the path splits and a Goomba might direct you to Bowser's cake where he'll punish you before returning you to the main carousel. The bottom row of the cake is also littered with event spaces in which you can pay to set up traps, or decorations, that will steal the star of anyone who lands on it. Perfect! Now that is Mario Party. This creates an ever-growing thread of death alleys, similar to late-game Monopoly, where you'd rather just be sitting in jail than have to play your cards running through the minefields of other people's design. One of the potential punishments for landing on a Bowser space is him just dressing you up as him and going, "See how you like it!" And jeez. Everyone just beats the hell out of you and takes all your money! This is so sad! This is how Bowser lives every day of his life! Oh my god. This truly is The Last of Us Part 2 of the N64 generation. Yoshi's Tropical Island. This one's a pretty standard map, but it's got a lot of event spaces that throws the star space to the opposite side of the map, which is kind of a pain. The two halves of the map are separated by womps who take a toll which any player can increase for all players by paying more than what's asked of them. Usually this is the kind of strategy I can get behind, but it almost feels useless when the star is moving as frequently as it does here. The star moves so much that making a decision of which way to go almost seems trivial, because the star's gonna constantly be moving. It's not gonna be where it is now in a turn or two, so it's frustrating, because it's so close. Hopefully it's a bit better in Supeystars. Why did they bring this one back? Where's Western Land? I want the Hootenannies! Wario's Battle Canyon! By the old adage of the further you stray from core Mario Party the worse, this one really bites the big one. I would say that random elements are essential to the Mario Party experience, but this map has you walking on 5 separate islands that shoot you to random other spaces on the level. It's completely out of your hands. There are event spaces that switch which opposing islands the cannons launch you to, but look at this! Are you kidding me? There are 0 optional paths, and it doesn't even really work as like a relay style map. Whether you roll high or low doesn't matter when you're just randomly launched into the air. It crosses the line and makes the game feel so random there's no point in trying. This map's really pretty bad. Luigi's Engine Room. This one's kind of weird. The main gimmick are the blue and red doors that open and close every turn and can also be shifted by reaching one of these robots and paying them to move it. This one's alright. It suffers the same issue of being a bit too linear for a map with optional paths, but that just seems to be due course for this game. And finally, Mario's Rainbow Castle, the second relay map, with the twist being kinda the same as the Yoshi level, in which collecting a star or hitting an event space causes the star space to be swapped out with Bowser. It's what I like to call just annoying, but still better than the Wario one. So out of all 6 maps oh wait, there are 2 unlockable maps. One by getting almost 1,000 coins, and the other with 100 stars. Whoa, is it just me, or did it just get a whole lot more fake in here? Bowser's Magma Mountain is sort of set up like a relay map with everything going in a linear loop, but the star space moves around, with Bowser waiting at the ends, who will steal either coins or a star from you. There are shortcuts that you can pay to have the chance to use, and there's also a chance you'll bypass Bowser and instead go by a Boo, who, like in any map, you can have steal coins or stars for you. The idea is this is Bowser's level, so it's more punishing than usual. So you can end up paying for shortcuts that you don't even get to use, or cause a volcano eruption by hitting an event space and turning almost every space into a coin sapping one. This one's okay. The option to take chances on going for shortcuts at the cost of coins is a fun idea and works decently well. Finally, there's Eternal Star, which, I mean, thematically is awesome. It's a giant star that's been fractured and graffitied by Bowser.
You won't find Toad here.
What? What have you done with him? You leave that baby man alone!
This is my cohort, Baby Bowser.
That's not Baby Bowser. Baby Bowser is Bowser when he was a baby. And Bowser's right there. And it's not Bowser Jr. either. That's a totally different design. So this is yet another miniature Bowser boy. Why? Oh wait, no it's not. It's not just one more, it's 7 more! There's 7 of them! Why? Oh. Because each one's holding a star on the board, and there's 7 star spaces, so there's gotta be 7 more little baby Bowser boys to be inserted into the Mario lore. So there are 7 star spaces when you start the game, which is kinda cool, because it means whoever wins the minigames early on is pretty much guaranteed a star, or even 2. But once you buy a star, that space is gone, so they start disappearing. And later on, it becomes impossible to even find one because of this level's teleport pads that start switching where they take you. And then on top of that, every event space, for some reason, sends everybody back to the beginning of the board. Why? This one was just so close to being cool. But they threw too many ideas in there and I got convoluted, and wandering around not even knowing how to get the star isn't fun. I guess I should mention that you also have to beat Baby Bowser in a die roll to actually buy it, but the player rolls a die that only goes from 8 to 10 out of pity, it seems like, but I've never seen Baby Bowser roll any higher than 3, so I don't know, it seems like it's just a bit. This game doesn't have orbs or candy or any of that, but it does have items. Kind of. Available in the mushroom shop outside of board gameplay, you can buy alternate blocks that provide certain outcomes, that can give extra coins or even warp players or call boo. The only thing is, you don't collect these on the map and use them. If you activate them for gameplay, they will just, without warning, replace someone's dice block in a turn entirely at random. So honestly, I just wouldn't even bother. Well, at least they got the options, right? To speed things up, you can change the text speed and even have the game skip the minigame instruction screen by default. Quick game's a good game. Although seeing that they had this in the very first game makes it just that much more frustrating that it doesn't return in every entry. Looking at you, Super Mario Party! I hate to say it, but the minigames here are, for the most part, not great. But one of the weirdest things is that the rewards for winning aren't even consistent. In most Mario parties, when minigame time rolls around, you can be pretty sure that you'll have the opportunity to win about 10 coins. In this one, who knows what you'll be able to win? Every minigame seems to have its own rules on how much anybody's able to win. I swear, even the instruction manual gets confused about how this works. These change-ups include, but are not limited to, ending the match when a single player loses, only ending the match when all but one do, allowing everybody to win, 1v3 games where the 3 don't even have the opportunity to win coins. Sometimes the winners take the money from the losers, sometimes if you do better than other players, it doesn't even matter because there's just an arbitrary threshold you have to exceed to win. Why did everyone just win? I did better than them! Isn't this Versus? What is going on here? It's madness. It's insane. It's stupid. I don't know how they messed this part up quite so much, but not landing on an accountable reward for minigames was a real misfire. It takes strategy out of the game and just makes you feel totally blind to predicting the next turns. And while you shouldn't be able to always know what's coming next in Mario Party, you should get some idea, even if it's not the one that ends up happening. Here's an example of one of the better minigames. Balloon Burst. This one does not look as good as it is. It's one where they pull off the perfect blend of simplicity with depth. Just A and Z. That's it. pump the Bowser. But it's not a button masher. The most efficient pumping strategy requires holding off hitting the next button before you've completed your full current pump already. Not too hard, but not too soft. Then, as the minigame progresses, so does the distance between each pump because it's getting bigger and bigger. I guess, is that how that works? It's a really clever system that requires quick button speed, but more so, quick reaction speed. This minigame is a rarity in this first game, as one I think I can call actually kinda great.
Finish!
What about bumper balls? Is this one good? Sometimes it does end up a tie like people say, but I think it just makes you more desperate to pull off more daring moves to take out your enemies. To be fair, I've only been playing for this video with NPCs, but this minigame returns in the second game, so I'll come back to it. I mean, it really makes for moments like no other, like getting to team up with DK to murder Luigi and turn on him the instant his usefulness to me expires. It's time for you to go.
Finish!
Okay, you know, I think this one's good. I don't know. I'll come back to it in Mario Party 2. So, like, there are a decent amount of good mini-games, but there's definitely too many of them that are just bad. And a lot of the better ones here are reworked and implemented in the very next game. The cracks are really showing here. The excitement of seeing Mushroom Mix-Up is a bit doused when you realize you're gonna have to play with this game's awkward momentum physics, and that jumping on players launches you into the air completely out of your control, usually just screwing yourself over. Meaning victory is often attained by just standing around and having a gentlemanly chat with your opponents. In all the games where you have free movement, which are usually my favorite, it just feels like I'm fighting the controls more than the other players. There's a musical chairs minigame which really, but also I swear I can't even get my handle on my player before the game ends. I've not once played that and felt like I was actually going anywhere before the CPU won. It just sucks that the minigame roulette more often elicits a feeling of dread than excitement. I really hate games like Mario's Bandstand, where you just sit and wait and press the big fat A button when it tells you to. Like, does this even really count as a game? I get there's power in simplicity, but like, games that are literally just, how fast can you mash the button or spin the stick? Like, come on! Luckily, they were forced to stop the stick spinning games because people managed to injure themselves by screwing the controllers into their hands, making Nintendo have to start handing out free gloves. Great, yes, thank you, design a better game. Buried Treasure is one that's almost cool, but then you realize it's pretty much entirely luck that decides who wins. Back to this monstrosity. This is a 1v3 game where 3 people have to, like, feed Audrey here just by ground pounding as fast as you can. For, like, the whole time. Thrilling. And somehow, the whole game has a pitiful 5 2v2 minigames, but 10 one-player minigames. Yes, you heard me right! One-player minigames! Oh my god, why are there one-player minigames? This is a party game! What? And yeah, you are actually made to play these in the board game with the other players, except not with the other players, because there's one player! They're assigned to a space on the board in which everyone sighs and goes, oh great, now we have to watch Billy play Ghost Guess. Billy, you idiot! And you know, all these issues are one thing, but to tell me that we're going into a battle royale game and then present me with a minigame where I have to work cooperatively with my opponents to achieve a common goal, that is crossing the line. I'm not holding hands with that schmuck. I want to beat him into the dirt! Mario Party should be a violently hostile environment. Hostile? I'll show you hostile! There has to be someone for me to wipe the floor with, or I come out of this hollow, you understand? I really actually hate it. Removed, please. Please, I'm making an open call to make a patch to Mario Party on an N64. A delete. The game overall is cool. Ugh, no it's not. Dang it! I was really hoping this would be one of the good ones. I mean, it's on the N64! But like, When Shy Guy says the Simon Says clone where you hit A or B and he kills you if you don't is one of the best minigames of the lot, the bar is not high enough. It's, it gets a lot of stuff going for the series, but it just flubs a few too many important notes and ends up feeling unsatisfying on mostly all fronts. I wanted to like this one, but he's not very good. In the words of Terrence Howard, next time, baby. Hey, if you enjoyed it, a little like goes a long way. And if you want to see me lose it to the Mario Party Superstars reveal, that went up on my second channel. Subscribe for more. What else is here? I need a new chair. You don't need to know that. Oh, and thank you so much for watching. More's on the way. I promise.